Welcome to the No Bull Political Arena. With your hosts, Sophia Nelson, Bill O'Reilly, Brian Mistro, and TJ McCormick. It's real voices, raw politics, and no bullshit. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another show of the No Bull Political Arena. I'm here with Bill O'Reilly, and we wanted to knock out a couple of things really quickly here. First of all, Bill, and you and I have talked about the national debt on this show quite a bit. The projection right now, I believe this is out of the CBO, and we're putting this right here. 2.4, that's a plus 2.4 trillion over the next 10 years per year, up to $64 trillion outgo per year by 2036.
Yeah, I remember in 2011, I was doing a congressional race in New York for a guy named Bob Turner. We won. It was for Anthony Weiner's old seat, who people
Oh,
remember
yep.
he got in trouble. So it was kind of a hot, we actually won that race. No Republican had won in about 90 years. But we talked about the debt a lot that year. And I remember doing a news conference outside the debt clock in Times Square. And I think it was 14 billion then, or 14 trillion, 14 or maybe 17. And everybody was so alarmed, and you had the Simpson-Bowles Commission, and everybody swore something was going to happen. And it's just both sides have just completely abrogated any responsibility, and our kids are going to pay it.
Yeah,
I mean, we're just running up debt on our kids' credit cards.
yeah,
It's
a pox on both houses. Yeah,
yeah, both houses.
yeah, it's and it's not a Democrat thing, it's not a Republican thing, and I mean, hell, Donald Trump's running it up more than anybody, and he's a Republican. So,
Yeah.
But again, I'm not blaming this on Donald Trump.
Bush ran it up, Clinton ran it, they all ran it up. Yeah.
They did. It did. Obama ran it up. Biden.
Yeah.
I just don't know how our country's going to. If we're having to service $64 trillion in debt a year, just the
Right.
interest payments on that, the amount I would imagine brings down our GDP is just going to be incredible.
The thing is, but with that money, and here's the bigger problem is with that money. I don't mean with the debt, but with the money that they're laying out. Both sides know they get elected with that money. They're not looking towards the future at all. It's all just towards the next election. So you can't cut Social Security, you can't reform Medicare, you can't do any of these things because somebody may object and you lose your seat. So they're just willfully adding crushing debt to our children. It's going to come crashing down.
I don't
We
know
don't
how.
know when. I'm not the economist, and economists disagree on it, but everybody knows it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's I don't know how you service that much debt. I don't. And to your point, because this is a political show, how do you get reelected by saying, I'm going to take away a good chunk of your Social Security, we're going to redo Medicaid, and you're just not going to get as much as you used to be. And everybody's going to have to pay a lot more in taxes to make sure that our kids aren't going to be killed by this debt. Well, he'll never get reelected by doing
Right.
that, right?
No,
So it's
and nobody will. You'll be thrown out of office. So it's, they're doing what gets them elected. So, everybody's kind of wrong on this one. And that's the problem.
yeah.
I mean, I
I
have
don't.
friends, I mean, I've got, I'm 62 and I've got friends in throughout the 60s. And I've gotten calls from a bunch of friends. They're all taking Social Security early because, they're saying 2032, it's dead. They're going to
Next
have to
question,
cut
yeah.
it 12% or whatever the numbers that they're talking about. I mean, no one's really talking about it out loud because they don't want to freak people out. But people who are in the know are taking Social Security early, even though it's a substantial loss for what you can get at 70. And
Yeah.
so it's a mess. It's really bad.
Yeah, and for those of us that, because I won't be turning 65 until I guess a little bit after that. So for folks like me that have been paying to it their entire lives, right? I mean, I don't know what's going to be there for me, and I really don't know what's going to be there for my kids, and they're in their 20s.
Absolutely. That's right. I mean, no pensions and no Social Security. That's going to be
Yeah,
rough.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's going to be tough. I want to talk about something else that's dear to our heart, real quick, Bill. Tariffs.
Yeah.
And so, and we've got a couple of slides I want to show up here real quickly, but it looks like after, I guess, Liberation Day, how long ago was that, Bill? A year and a half? Was it a year ago? And I get my time mixed up, but it looks like it's finally coming due. So it is reportedly killing manufacturing. This is no surprise. And I'm just going to report the other thing that's happened here is that now most major companies that have been eating the tariffs over the last 6, 12 months have said, that's it. We're done. We're passing it off to consumers. Bill,
course.
I thought we've already talked about this. I thought we learned years and years ago that tariffs don't work. I'm not against strategic tariffs. You
Yeah.
know, if you've got somebody that's cheating the system where you need to punish
Agreed.
them, but
Agreed. I think China,
worldwide,
right? Like China
yeah,
was cheating this forever. I totally agree. If you've got someone that's cheating you, you hit them back hard. You hit them back harder. But what we've done with the Canadians and the Europeans and I mean, maybe there were better deals to be had, but it's also been so herky jerky that it's got everybody spinning, and there's just so much loss of productivity over that.
yeah, yeah. And if you're a business, how do you plan for that? How do you plan for, I don't even know what to charge for it because on the manufacturing side of it, and this goes to what economists kept saying, is that, if we raise tariffs on steel, if we raise it on aluminum, if we raise it on those to help try to boost internally, steel and aluminum and stuff that we're producing internally, yeah, you're going to give those people jobs, you create 500, but you lose 5 million because of all the inputs that everybody that was manufacturing this stuff is now having to use inputs that are so much more expensive. Now they're out of business because they can't sell their product. They're not competitive. And this goes right back to, and that's what the article is about. And it goes right back to something you and I have talked about a million times, even before we started this show. It just doesn't work. And the question I have is, when is Congress going to stand up and say, it doesn't work? Is it going to take the Supreme Court to do this?
I think it's going to take the Supreme Court because I don't think Congress. I mean, you see some breaks in Congress now and people being a little bit independent, certainly over the immigration things and some other issues. But Epstein, for example, Massey, and some other people.
Right.
But as long as Trump can destroy a candidate in a primary, and he can still do that, I don't think Congress is going to do that much, to be honest with you. But you're right, Brett. I mean, we know this. Republicans in the turn of the 20th century were a tariff party, 1905, 1906, in those
Yeah.
early years. And but we learned that it just doesn't work. It's just a practical matter. It's not philosophical. It's just it tends to raise prices and cause inflation and other things. So the traditional conservatives, the Reaganites, were all, what are you talking about for Trump? But he went forward with it, and maybe we just have to learn it again. But it's not doing it's really driving up prices. I mean, that's why you go to the supermarket, and that's why we're looking at what we're looking at.
Yeah. Well, and apparently, and according to the article, is a Wall Street Journal. So it again, that's not a left-leaning rag, right? That's
No,
not
it's not
somebody
us
that's
saying
yeah.
it. Right.
And
Really
so
smart people.
for them to
Yeah.
be coming out and saying this, it's I think we can take it to the bank, So
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a challenging situation. I One last thing, and I know we're a little bit short on time, everybody, but there is something I wanted to share with you and talk to you about the latest rumor that I've heard now a couple of different places. Um, and I'm going to base the rumor upon what I have heard Trump write himself. So I'm going to put a little bit of credibility to it before it is out there. But the rumor that's going around right now is that Donald Trump is going to write an executive order that, first of all, is going to try to force states to have to, anybody that votes has to show their ID. That's pretty much universally been considered illegal. It'll probably get knocked down by the courts. But the other one that's going around with it right now, Bill, is what he's going to do is he's going to set up federal agents right outside of polling places in critical polling areas and purple districts and so forth that will be checking ID. So if you put the Department of Homeland Security out in, let's say it's a Latino, Hispanic district, and you put the DHS or ICE setting out there, even if you're a citizen with all the rumors and everything that's going on with ICE, even if you're here, you've been here your entire life, you're a U.S. citizen, born here, whatever, um, it's going to give you a lot of pause. It's if we are having to put people like that and people are standing in front of polling places like that, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that's not how you win an election. That's how you screw over an election. And it's got me very concerned because I'm not hearing it one place, I'm hearing it multiple places. And it was the president himself who said, we're going to do this one way or the other. Well, this is the other way. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts, Bill?
My thoughts are, I mean, first of all, I'm going to go to the polling places and I'm going to vote for Republicans because that's I'm back on that side. But if a federal agent comes up and says he needs to see some ID, I'm going to give him the finger. I refuse to do it. I will not do it. The federal government has no business in elections. They've never had business in the elections. They're state run and county run, and the rest of it is the way America works. I will not do it. And you put troops out there, you're going to end up or agents out there, you're going to end up with a situation like Minneapolis, where you're going to get radicals on the left, who I do not support either, that are going to go and confront them, and something's going to happen. And
Yep.
it's like they're playing with fire. Like we're playing with fire in this country from both wings, and that sounds like a terrible idea. And I hope it's Trump being being controversial today, or just trying to stir things up. But it sounds like something he might do. It sounds like something that Stephen Miller would organize.
Yeah, well, kind of for it would approve from the Stephen Miller wing for sure.
Totally,
Um,
yeah.
but again, it's at how do you fix that? Because if he does it on or close to
And
election
I'm
day,
for voter ID. I mean,
yeah, no,
I'm
no,
for voter
and
ID.
actually I am too, and you and I've even
Sure.
said that. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's not.
yeah,
This isn't about voter ID. This is about voter intimidation, right?
right,
That's
right,
that's that's
and
our
also
concern.
federalism. It's about federalism.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right,
So
exactly.
again, but here's the issue that I see, and that the Trump card that he may play is that if he does it by the time that they passed, got the court order to stop it, and the election's already over, and those people already have been intimidated and don't show up, you can't fix that. You can't do another election. You can't run another election. You just say, oh, well, let me slap you on the back of the hand and don't do that again in 2028. Well, shit, he's out of the office in 2028. So,
Exactly. And what kills me also is that, a lot of people live in states where it's, bright red or dark blue. And, I live in a purple state. I live in New York, and that's being kind, calling it purple. It's really a pretty blue state.
that is being
But
very kind.
you're very kind. But like, say a Mike Lawler district, I mean, you have voters. I mean, most voters know who they're going to pull the lever for, or write in before they get there. But there are always some undecided. You get there, and there's federal people there with guns. They're going to kill us. Republicans already have enough trouble this year. Like it's no.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope that would be what it is. I guess my biggest concern is he's not going to send it to the ones that would have a predominantly Caucasian or Asian. He's going to send it to the places to where it's going to have the maximum effect, and that would be Latino, Hispanic districts, to where a small percentage swing can change an election, right?
Yeah,
It can change
yeah,
the outcome. So we'll be watching that, and that may be something that comes up again in our one of our future episodes. Let's see what happens. It's a rumor. I've been putting it out. It's up front. It's a rumor, but I don't usually report on those. But given how Trump's and some of his statements that he's made on Truth Social, I'm sorry. I
But,
am
but,
going to put it out
but
there.
he talked about doing that in the 24 election also,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and so he's come back to that. So I think there's something potentially real there.
Tomorrow we get to have a great guest on, my friend.
Yeah.
Somebody that is challenging Lindsey Graham. I will go ahead and announce it here. Annie Andrews is going to join us. Annie Andrews, Dr. Annie Andrews, is a pediatrician from South Carolina. She's running for the United States Senate. It'll be interesting to hear from her and some perspectives. It's certainly going to be a challenging race for her. It is South Carolina, okay? But this is a crazy year for elections. I don't know. It's hard to even put your finger or your thumb on which way it's going to go. So I'm excited to announce that for everybody. That's coming tomorrow. Make sure you join us. It'll be a great discussion. And Bill, thanks for taking the time. I'm sorry, everybody. We did have to make it a little bit short due to some scheduling things today, but tomorrow we're going to make it up to you with some wonderful folks on with us. So
Yep. And we had a great time, Brian.
we did. Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff really quickly, but a lot of
Yeah.
good stuff.
And we'll do a
So,
shout to Jesse Jackson, which you mentioned
oh
earlier.
yeah, yeah. I did want to do that.
I
I
gotta say,
apologize.
I wasn't the greatest fan, but you don't say that on the day someone dies. I he had his place. He had his place in history. I was not a fan, but I wish him Godspeed to
Him
eternal
and his
salvation.
family. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's tough. As everybody knows, or maybe you do know, I was on a sailboat somewhere in the islands during most of those years, so I really can't comment on it. And
your
like
story's
I knew
amazing.
who he
Yeah.
was, and that's probably about the most that I can say about it. But
That,
yeah,
that Rainbow Coalition had there was a pretty good shakedown operation there of American businesses. It was like,
was
we'd
it?
love a donation, because there's a lot of people that want to demonstrate outside your office. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
then the
so
money
that
would
was
show up in
something
the
that. So would you call that the rainbow?
Well, Rainbow Coalition was his thing, but he made some money off of it, and I didn't think that was cool. But he can ask God forgiveness for anything he feels is wrong.
Yeah. Now prayers for him and his family as they get through this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks
Yes,
everybody for joining us. Make sure you subscribe. It's right there. Go to YouTube, and it's No Bull Media Group, at No Bull Media Group, as you see it right there. If you like it, press the like button, leave us a comment. We do answer those, and make sure that you subscribe, because it's not just this. You're going to see the Hinge of History is dropping episodes. We're about to start dropping episodes and some other a number of other shows that are going to be coming hopefully this next week. And so lots of stuff happening. We also have a lot of guests that we have not announced yet, including some pretty big ones coming. So thank you for joining us this evening. Thanks, Bill. And
Thanks,
we
Brian.
will see everybody tomorrow. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
The No Bull Political Arena is on all major social media platforms. Make sure to give us and your host a follow.
Hey everybody, this is Sophia Nelson. Follow me at I am Sophia Nelson on every one of my social media platforms.
I'm Bill O'Reilly, and you can reach me at Twitter at WFBOR.
Hey, this is TJ. Follow me on X or Twitter at TJ McCormack.
This is Brian Mistro, and you can follow me on X at Brian_Mistro, or follow along on Facebook at Brian.Mistro.
A No Bull Media Group member.